Today, reset your nervous system and control your life. Welcome to Sacred Grip, a podcast equipping men to conquer addiction and overcome inner struggles through physical, mental, and spiritual disciplines so you can become a man of honor and integrity. I'm Jason.lyle. Now let's get to work. Today you'll learn how to reset your nervous system at any moment, how to take your thoughts captive, and how to make loving decisions towards yourself. This episode is brought to you by Oak Haven Diagnostics. What's up, my dude? Welcome back to the Sacred Grip Podcast and Gritty Wednesday. All right, let's put some teeth on this thing. So, can Jesus save me from my addiction? All right, here is the short answer. No, Jesus cannot come from the outside of you and just magically fix all that's inside of you. And I know that might cause me an email. That's okay. I can delete those too. Here's what he will do, though. Jesus, by the way, was a historical figure, but he said that the Holy Spirit lives inside of you, right? So here's what Jesus would point you to, does point you to in the Bible, the helper inside of you. So let's talk about that. Reset your nervous system, control your life. All right, so here's the first tool I want to give you. There's a thing that you can do, and it is called just breathing in order to reset your nervous system. And here's how it works. You find yourself in the middle of a moment. I don't know what that is. Maybe you're craving a substance. Maybe you're about to do something you know you shouldn't do. Maybe you're going to grab an Oreo cookie. Maybe you're about to have a panic attack. I don't know what that thing is, but here's what you do. You take a huge breath and hold it. Hold it, then take another sip, hold it, and let it go. Now, when you do that, you lower your heart rate, you lower your respiratory rate, and you create just this little small moment where you can grab that moment. Now, I'm going to tell you, brother, that moment is a blip on the radar screen, but this works. You find yourself dysregulated. You take a huge breath as deep as you could take it. Hold it for about a 2 count. Then take another little sip in. You can get a little more in there. Hold it for about 2 seconds. Let it all out and then pause. And you have just reset your nervous system. You have just brought calm into you, activated your parasympathetic nervous system. And so you've lowered your respiratory rate and your heart rate. And now you have a pause. Now this is where the juice is. Whatever thought you were having, you immediately grab that thought and look at it. This is, I think Paul talks about this in 2 Corinthians, take every thought captive and make it obedient. Now, you have that thought captivated and you have a reset nervous system. And I will tell you that if you're doing your cold water immersion, if you're doing your breath work, if you're doing meditation, if you're doing yoga, this is 1,000,000 times easier, if not a gajillion times easier. But if you don't do all those things, you still have a moment. This is all about widening your window, your ability to hold this space. So I'll tell you, if you're not practicing at all, this will give you a nanosecond. If you're practicing, this will give you a few seconds to grab that thought. Now, that thought being, why am I about to do this thing, right? It could be grab a Coke off the shelf instead of a water. It could be, going to your meth dealer or texting your heroin dealer. It could be clicking on a porn site. It could be about to lose your shit in traffic and scream at somebody. It could be about to lay on the couch and watch Netflix instead of going outside with your kid. It could be getting in an argument with your wife. It could be 900 things, my dude. But in that moment, that deep breath, another little sip, let it all out. And then take that thought captive. Why am I about to do this? And then the last thing you can do, my man, is make a loving decision toward yourself. Here's what you do. You say, in that brief moment that you have, take the thought captive. Why am I about to do this? And then you say to yourself, what is the most loving thing I can do toward myself right now? Not your kids, not your wife, not your dealer, not your pornography addiction, none of those things, not your best friend. Yourself, and then do that. And here's the thing. You know what? You may say the best thing I can do to love myself right now is to advocate for my needs with my partner. Well, that means you're going to have a conversation, not an argument. You might say, you know what? The best thing I can do to love myself right now is to sit on the couch for a few minutes and watch Netflix. But you know what? You do that consciously, and you have a conversation with your child that says, you know what, bud? Come here and sit in Dad's lap and let's watch this together. I'm just really tired. It's been a long day at work. Those loving decisions may very well be the opposite of what you think they should be. But here's what they will never be. They will never be destructive, right? They will never be things that harm you. So, if you go, well, I think the most loving thing for me to do is go ahead and text my heroin dealer. That's destructive to your life. Going to the bar is destructive to your life. All these different things that are destructive to your life. You don't need to do those things. Those are not loving towards yourself. So you ask yourself the question, is this thing I am about to do loving back toward myself? My friend, those 3 things that you learned today, how to reset your nervous system at any moment, how to take your thoughts captive, and how to make loving decisions toward yourself will change your life if you will just practice them. We'll talk about this a little bit more on Sacred Sunday, but for today, this is what I want you to work on this week. My dude, thank you for listening. I appreciate you listening. If you drop down into the show notes, you'll see a link there. You can click to book a consultation call. This consultation call is about getting you a plan together, right? And it's free. I just give you all the tools, man. I'm gonna open up the floodgates and let you have it all. If you want to book further calls and hire me to coach you, that's great. But this is not about the money. This is about the work. No matter where you are in the world, you can book that call and we can get you on the right path, my dude. All right, I am so thankful for my good friend, Chuck Swenson. Now, let me tell you something about Chuck Swenson. He not only supports this podcast, he also supports Adventures in Recovery, and he also supports multiple other things out there in the world. He is a dude who loves to help people, and he also operates Chick-fil-A Griffin. So if you're in the area, go in there and tell them that you want a chicken sandwich from Little Nugs Swenson and that Jason Lyle sent you. All right, my dude. I hope you have a great week. I will see you on Sacred Sunday.